Hello there, it's me, Double A, and I've got a real bushel of bananas here, something real good. A true banger of a book, SOS, written by Chimera. Oh, you know, some of us men decide that it's best we hide behind a pseudonym, whatever. And drawn by the immortal, the uncompromising, the one and only Ibai Canales. First off, just to start off, this is a recommend. This is a buy. This is a fun, funny book. I really enjoyed reading it and rereading it. That's right, I read it twice, and I quite liked it. Ibai Canales is a favorite artist of mine ever since I got to see his work on Iron Sights #1. I was really drawn to his style. It's like semi cartoonish, but not in any way like loose. It's very unique. I actually kind of preferred his style a bit scratchier, like it was in Iron Sights 1. Iron Sights 2, in this book, he really refined his style and it looks really nice, but I kind of prefer that older style. This isn't about Iron Sights. Sorry. This is about SOS. And I feel that the back of the book really sums it up nicely. SOS chronicles the misadventures of three brothers, Megas, Rovan, and Carnage, who were former super soldiers during World War II. 75 years later, the brothers find themselves coming out of retirement. Monsters from a dimension called the Abyss start invading their neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York. Megas, the oldest brother, starts a monster hunting business named after their special force unit, SOS. Great! Sums it all up. The humor at times reminds me of Chew, if you've ever read that. That book has just inside jokes littered all over the place. This is very much the same. A lot of inside CG indie jokes. It's very funny. Best way I can describe this, Ed, and Eddie have powers. And there are several ramifications for that. So Eddie would be Megas here in the jacket. Double D, that would be Rovan. And Carnage over here with the wings is definitely an Ed character. Best way I can describe this is Megas over here kind of, he don't give an F, right? Rovan is a bit more caring. He has more of a moral compass, and he really tries to center the other two. But when you've got a wild card like Carnage who just wants to snort coke, there's not much you can do about it. So, these group of bros with powers, they use fire and electricity to solve their problems. They're nearly immortal. They deal with demons from other dimensions. The mayor of their town revoking their vigilante license, and rehab. So, just great, funny scenarios all the way through. I got some perks. I got both books. This came with this really nice bookmark. Tell me in the chat, you guys, do you use the CG bookmarks that you get? The indie bookmarks that you get? I don't often, but I found myself using this because it's such a nice texture. I don't know what you call that. I'd have to look that up. So getting right into the story, we've got, these higher-ups in the U.S. government forming the SOS, with the three brothers. And, it just starts right off with the humor, right? Like you asked, I came up with a plan to deal with our enemies over in Japan. The idea is that we weaken morale in Japanese army by destroying their masculinity. I call the weapon anime. Look at the way that Ibai draws this face. It's great. It's like manic and super proud of himself and just, just in awe of his own creation and just like, right, guys? Isn't this great? I love the way Ibai draws. He can communicate emotion so effectively with these faces. And you're sure this won't backfire on us and destroy our country? Get back to me on that. That's just really funny stuff. It starts right off the bat. I'll say that probably the character with the most development is Carnage. I know you Germans are all coked out of your minds. Don't you hold out on me. The war is not over until I have cocaine. Yeah, that's the level of development this character gets. He likes cocaine. Ain't no problem with that. Um, so the action is great too. If you've read Iron Sights, you know that Ibai is really good at drawing people getting their faces blasted through with magnums. I mean, look at the detail in this. This is great. Got the ear like kind of slimely falling off because Megas here got slashed by this monster. Um, they're all near mortal, so they heal almost immediately. Uh, Look at this raw emotion; it's great. I'm just always so impressed by Ibai. More books, Ibai. More books by Ibai, please. Moving on here, we've got another character, James. He has a car and they wrecked it. He's also this vigilante. I'm not spoiling too much really by revealing this. And then you have the Abyss. So this is the area called the Abyss, and this is the villain called the Abyss. So it's kind of like Hades. You know, Hades the place, Hades the god.
Master, we failed to get them on our side.
They were too powerful. And look, he's playing Jawbreaker Crush Saga. That's man. It's so funny. There's so many like little inside jokes peppered throughout the book. There was a nod to uh, Earthbound, I believe. Narwhal's really big book. It's just funny jokes in the background, funny jokes in the dialogue. Um, I will say that probably the comedy that you know really didn't make me laugh was the self-aware sort of comedy, like, oh look, it's one of these monologuing guys, I'll go ahead and stop him. That's not too funny to me, but a lot of the other stuff is pretty funny. Like, you've got this big monster going around, shine the signal, SOS. What the hell is that? Whatever, I'm too high to care. There are only so many comics that can make me laugh out loud. Choose one of them. I like a lot of the older Simpsons and Futurama comics too. This one made me laugh out loud. Um, yeah, super enjoyable. Um, I'm not going to go through all the spoilers. You've also got this scientist character, Peter, who at first is just kind of treated like crap, but as the issues go on, he's kind of given more character. He's kind of a manic guy who's very much willing to give his friends poison so he can kind of test them. Um, you know, I don't want to spoil too much of the humor. It is really funny. It reads so well. Nothing ever lingers too. You know how like sometimes in like a comedy bit they'll linger on a joke for far too long. None of this lingers, and of course they're the constant running jokes. So this is Sarah Kendall, I believe is her name. She's the reporter, sort of the April character, kind of ties the three of them together. Um, Uncut cocaine from the jungles of Colombia. Where's the coke? I don't know. That's great. The hammer and sickle will be explained in the story later. Um, so, what are my thoughts? Overall, this is a very funny, fun book, very well drawn. Like I said, I read it twice. I'm always impressed by Ibai's style. I think this is definitely a recommend. Now, as to where you can find this, I know that Chimera has another campaign going that looks really good. I've already backed it. The name escapes me now, but I'll include it. I'll include a link to it in the description. I believe Chimera said at some point that he has extra copies of SOS and he's selling it on his Etsy store, I believe. So I'd recommend that, if you like comedy and if you like Ibai, you like in general the way this is drawn. I mean, this is just a brilliant cover. This is a very nice book. Get SOS, definitely. I, you know, I would say get SOS 2 as well. I have not read SOS 2 yet, but I doubt that there would be such a dramatic drop in quality from this. This is all over just very good, very fun. It knows exactly what kind of comic book it is, and it does not fail. So yeah, back at. So now we get into kind of the nitty gritty. The setting is fine. This is a funny, fun book. You know, it's meant to be kind of just whatever's about the storyline of the place. Everybody knows who SOS is. They feel that they kind of disappeared, and it's really just because these guys kind of faded into obscurity and got bored with themselves. They're immortal, so they're going to do that. The villain, you know, I said in another video that I don't like it when the villain is kind of treated as a joke, like from the first time that you meet them. But in this case, it worked really well. I guess it's situational. I don't know. The art, Ibai Canales, it's great. Okay, the characters, they're not one dimensional necessarily. I think that there's going to be greater dimension. I really like Carnage. He's just kind of a classic comic relief. Everybody sort of shares a comedic role, but Carnage was the one who always gave me the laughs. Magus is slightly flat. He doesn't care about much of anything, although he obviously does care about some things. He did staple a bunch of papers to a pedophile's face, so he really doesn't like bad people. Roven, I want to see more of Roven. I didn't quite get a flavor for him, except that he's honestly trying to do some good. Not just good like for the world, but also like, come on, guys, we need to make money. We all need to get up off our asses and start making some dough. Sarah Kendall, they got a slight feel for her. Drawn beautifully. James is kind of fine where he is. Take him or leave him. Peter was funny where he was. The villain, Void, was great. At the end, there's a big showdown, and it's very entertaining. Great action payoff. And, there's a slight cliche at the end, but honestly, I'm okay with cliches. I like cliches. Tell me something I've heard before, but a little bit different, Anyway, this is definitely a recommend. Please find this book on Etsy and purchase it. I'll include a link if there is one in the description. Very funny stuff. If you like humor, comics, this is right up your alley. It's gritty, it's gnarly, it's violent, it's fun. Back Chimera's other project, if you take a look at it and you like it, I like the look of it. I've already backed it. Otherwise, I wanted to shout out the Crack Pack in general. They've been making waves, man. I mean, the Crack Pack has been blowing up like like a basement crack lab, I guess. But I'd like to thank, most importantly, the two lords of the Crack Pack, that being Good Stuff Comic Skater and Darren Wagner, my boy D-Wag. They got the word out, got my subscriber count up to the double digits. Can't thank you enough. I just want to spread the good word. They are putting out some hilarious content, some really funny stuff about AR-15 orangutan and the Crack Pack in general. It's all good stuff, baby. It's all good stuff. I'm looking forward to their next live show, which I hope to attend. Otherwise, slap that like button. I mean, just slap it like a redheaded stepchild. But the subscribe button, let's treat it a little gentler, Give it a nudge. And that bell, give it a ring and ding, Give it a ring and ding. And in the meantime, I'll be reading other books and reviewing them. I have 2 questions for you, actually. How do you guys feel about spoiler reviews? Should they be done separately from a regular review like this? Should I do them? Is it kind of boring to hear the story from, a guy in his car? I don't know. Number 2, do you guys have any hands-free devices you would recommend to film this? Because I've tried out one and it just wobbles the entire time, and I don't want you guys getting motion sickness. So those are my 2 questions. I'm probably going to start reviewing more books that I didn't really care for. Gonna be gentle, but I mean, it's kind of hard to find those books. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Anyway, take care. Good night or good morning or good evening. Bye.